Yeah, would have been nice to be in the same time zone for once and actually record when one of us isn't dead exhausted and the other is like 3 drinks in on a Friday night. It's like 7 p.m. for me, 9 in the morning for him, you know.
Oh shit, he's 3 drinks in at 9 in the morning? That's wild.
Oh, no. You made a nuke in game and you give me like the layout of exactly how you did and how much time and money you put into it in game. Sure.
Hi everyone, welcome to Crash City. I am here with somebody I interviewed on a different show one time. I'm happy to see yet again Diana Faye. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing good. Happy to be back and I'm kind of back, kind of not. Different show, same vibe. Good to be here.
Different show, same vibe. I love it. So before we get into your background and who you are, I have one huge question. How was Australia?
Dude, oh, I miss it so much. It's so cheap to live down there. Oh my God, all the food, all the seafood. It's so nice. So I was at PAX Australia for, I want to say it was like end of September, beginning of October, right? And I was there for about 2
Yeah.
weeks. My God, it was so cheap. I don't know. It was so good. I got to buy packs of magic cards for like $40 American, which is like 60 Australian, and it was just it was pristine. It was fun. The weather was great. Ah, I miss it so much. I need to go back.
Did you fight kangaroos? Did you have any wild adventures? What did you do at PAX Australia really?
Honestly, we didn't have like adventures, but we did go out to this like wildlife park at one point where we didn't fight kangaroos, but we did feed them. They give you this like $3 pack of 3 Australian, which is like nothing in American dollars. They give you this pack of like pellets that you can feed quokkas and kangaroos and wallabies. And since we went in, our fall, which is Australian spring, they all had like babies in their pouches that would like stick their heads out and come say hi. It was the cutest thing. I didn't like fight a kangaroo. I did see some on the side of the road that lost a fight to cars, though. Apparently, there's a lot of roadkill because it's like their equivalent of deer, and
Yeah.
so that's rough. But beyond that, that was probably the most adventurous we got. Nothing too crazy on like the food front or anything. Didn't try anything exciting there. Yeah, I mean the cities are really well laid out. It's like easy to walk around places. It was fun.
It seems like it won you over. I'm just
Oh,
gonna say that.
1,000%. Yeah, this is my second time going, and last time I was in Perth on the East Coast. Sorry, it would have been their West Coast, and this time I was more in Southern Australia, and it was, it's just so much fun. I want to go back, honestly. I might just make it like a biannual thing. I don't know.
You definitely should. It sounds like it won you over a lot. So, can you get into your background a little bit of what style of content you do?
Yeah, so I am known as Diana of the Rose on all platforms. I do, oh my God, mostly short form content on an almost daily basis, except for weekends. So I'll usually talk about, I'll do skits and I'll do comedy and I'll do the occasional like random thoughts. But I also do a lot of TTRPG stuff. So talking about D&D and Daggerheart and Pathfinder and specifically like little bite-sized bits of advice on how to get better at the game and how to learn the game. And so that's what I kind of initially got like quote unquote famous for. And nowadays I also do long form content over on YouTube. I'm a streamer, so I stream 3 or 4 times a week over on Twitch, where I'm a member of the Twitch Tabletop Creator Club and actually the advisor for the club, that's a new thing that I need to remember to add into the repertoire. And yeah, I am also the host of a podcast of my own known as Worlds Apart, which is just world building. So I do a lot of different things, and I'm basically everywhere.
Also, your rogue cosplay. Can we talk about that?
Yeah, thank you. Oh my God, it's about time. I still don't know what the fuck Rogue is about. I don't know anything about like I've never seen X-Men anything. I know, but the hair allegations have been going on for years, so I figured it was about time I invest in like $100 costume, take some photos in it, and call it good. It was honestly really comfy too. Being able to wear like just a bodysuit for Halloween I got to actually like move around and be quite comfortable. It was not bad.
How I discovered your content the last time was mostly the comedy skits, and one of my favorite is when you're just asking dumb questions to the DM, or you go like, "Hey DM, hey," and then you break on camera. I was like, "Oh, this is perfect."
The one that's like, "Hey DM, I figured out how to make a hydraulic press, and I think we can build it right above the bad guy's throne room." Like all that sort of ridiculous nonsense. Yeah, I really want to do more installations of that. I've just run out of ideas. But I've got like 3 different variants of it. It's just rapid fire, like little ridiculous ideas thrown in a DM last minute type mashups, I suppose.
I love it because it's chaos and it's things I
Yeah.
wish people would tell the DM that weren't so afraid and just be like, all right, cool, let's actually do this.
Yeah, I always tell my players, like, if you have a ridiculous idea and like, you do something ridiculous in character, I'm down for it. I'm not gonna hinder your creativity. If you tell me you made a nuke in game and you give me like the layout of exactly how you did and how much time and money you put into it in game, sure, okay. Someone's gonna reverse engineer that down the road, and the BBG is gonna have a nuke next session. But I'm glad that you figured it out. So it's fun. It's creative.
So going off that too, and my partner, the last time you met her when we were on a different show, she was telling you how much she got into D&D and how much she loves it. Well, now she is part of a D&D podcast. And currently right now she is at her other table. They are having their Friday night session.
Nice.
So what are some pros and what is some advice you can give to somebody who is starting a D&D podcast or people that are trying to get more listeners, viewers, etc.?
Ooh, it's hard because the average viewership for podcasts and actual plays and things like that is pretty low, and there's a lot of people trying to do it. But I honestly think there are some really simple things that anyone can do to make it just easier to listen to and more fun to listen to. The number one thing that I recommend people do is not do it live, because that is just begging for scheduling issues, for people to have to get sick and drop out last minute and miss out on large chunks of the story. It's asking for technical difficulties to crop up in a way that'll ruin your live stream. And for anyone who's considering doing specifically like a live play on Twitch or on YouTube, I really recommend against it unless it's A, for charity, and B, in conjunction with that, there's something that the audience can actually do to interact with the game. Where if they donate a certain amount to charity, then a random encounter shows up or something like that, right? Beyond that, if there's no audience interaction, there's no need for you to do it live, and you should just save yourself the trouble. The other thing is, I feel like people don't realize how much scripting goes into actual plays, live or not live, where a lot of the times our player characters are a lot more thought out, because when you're running just a normal D&D game or any TTRPG and it's like more of a sandbox, you kind of just jump in and not have a defined character and then have your character define themselves and figure themselves out and figure out their motivations as the story goes along. When it comes to an actual play, you're functionally like, it's almost like a soap opera or like a play a little bit, where you're like, okay, I should have some idea of my character's entire arc going into it. So when I create characters, it's a whole different process. It's a lot more detailed. I give my DM like 1 or 2 or 3 even like essentially different character development stories. I could be like, okay, here's where my characters come from, here's a really good conflict that I feel like she should have at some point, and here's the 3 ways that it can end depending on how the story goes. And my DM was like, great, perfect, we'll run with this, and about halfway through the series we'll have this conflict show up and blah 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 blah. So it's a lot more of a collaborative process, and it's a lot more of a detailed process. I also hate to say it, but a lot of stuff needs to be cut. And I mean, like, the shopping episodes probably just shouldn't be a thing. It should be something that you figure out away from the screen and then catch the players up on, as at the intro of the next session, where you're like, oh yeah, well, we were between last episode and this one, we spent this much gold and got this many things. Yeah, those are kind of the large ones. People need to be really familiar with their character sheets so they can flow through combat easily, and they need to not be distracted. And yeah, those are kind of the big ones, honestly.
So combat and storytelling. This is where me, who doesn't play regularly, I think storytelling is more important. She goes, well, combat is a big part of it. In your opinion, are we both right? Are we both wrong?
It depends on the module. Honestly, I think that combat is a really big part of it when it's tied into the story. And so, especially when it comes to an actual play and you want other people to listen, it really can't just be people taking turns, like going around rolling dice and declaring numbers. If that was the case, I would go watch someone play Candyland and get basically the same amount of entertainment out of it. It really needs to be like quick-paced narrative storytelling. People need to know what actions they're doing ahead of time. They need to describe it in a flavorful way. Ideally, if the BBEG is being confronted in a big final battle, maybe there's some dialogue happening in between turns and people are like making snippy remarks at each other or setting traps or something to make it more entertaining and lively. So the descriptions of the combat can make it lend to the storytelling. Combat in and of itself, though, just like dry combat where no one's really planned anything and no one knows what their attacks are and no one knows what their attacks look like and it's all just numbers. That's not as fun for entertainment, but it does still have a very large place in D&D. D&D is known for chunky combat. You can't really avoid it.
Okay, so I'm wrong there, which is fine.
Nah, it's honestly both. It truly is like just a crunchy game, and a lot of it comes down to just fighting things.
I can see that, and I'm still trying to be like, all right, I will try to help if their podcast needs anything. I'd rather be just like a silly character comes in once, because that's what I enjoy more is the voice acting, the talking to people. The combat, not really. Just because I'm like, okay, I'm gonna stab that dude and he should be dead.
And
that's
ideally,
my thought.
That's really like the kind of a realistic reaction too. And really, when it comes to an action play and stuff, people shouldn't be having more than one combat per episode. If you have more than one combat per episode, you're kind of just like bogging the actual story down. So it is very much possible for you to pop in and just have like, even for like a beach episode or like, a particularly narrative, explore the city episode where there's no danger. It would still be really fun for you to pop in and just have like a silly, goofy little guy and not have to fight anything.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm just a little guy. That's all I would be. That's what we've been talking about. And then, listening to other podcasts or anything like that, people will do recaps. And I just feel that people respectively take it too serious. I'd rather, if somebody gave me a recap, I want to hear 9 different characters in it, even if it's one little sound. Like if they're like, okay, this character did this and we're staying at this character's house, I want to see that character make a comment on it or do something like that. But maybe that's just because I'm a big fan of anime. I have no fucking idea.
No, that's a really, I know some storytellers who absolutely take that approach where they go like the audio drama route where they're like, hey, we need everyone to step back into the studio, quote unquote studio for like 5 minutes and then record this line. We'll give you a script and then we'll just, cut it up themselves. It does take a lot of editing time, but it's immersive, like you said, like an anime. I love that approach. I wish more people would do it, honestly.
So yeah, that's kind of where we are right now is, she's currently on this one. She enjoys it. And my immediate thought was, okay, how can we make it bigger? How can we make it to where somebody like me who's not into D&D can come sit down and just go, okay, well, this is at the forefront. It's a story. And even though you have a bunch of rejects, which typically most D&D campaigns are, all coming together, all having a good time. I'm like, what makes it this one unique? Like Legends of Adventurous, we've been seeing a lot of their clips and I love listening to those guys. Those guys are hilarious.
They're super nice in real life too. They knew who I was and I was like, I've never seen any of your stuff, but like, want to be friends? And they were so cool. It's a lot of I don't know, especially when it comes to people who don't know anything about D&D. I feel like people kind of lapse in that aspect of it too, where ideally they're explaining what they're doing as they go. You can't just jump in and say, oh, I'm doing like this type of check. Especially if you want it to be open and friendly to people who are new to the game, you should ideally say, especially in the first couple episodes, like, oh, okay, I'm going to do this type of check. So I'm going to roll a D20, read off the number, and then add my modifier, which is such and such, and then state the result and narratively state the results as well. Not just the number, but how they actually do it. Like if they're, standing on someone else's shoulders and looking out over a crowd to check for, hidden arch enemies that are potentially sneaking up on them to ambush them. Things like that, right? Where they should be adding flavor and they should be describing as they go. Ideally. This is a very high bar for live podcasts, but also the bar kind of needs to be high because again, there's so many of them. So,
I agree. I definitely agree. And I think it's just talking to your team and discussing maybe what the next episode's going to be. Because I know when she walks in, especially on Fridays, she'll walk in and we're great friends with her DM. And he's like, oh, I got a surprise for y'all. And I'm like, okay, this is cool. But I wouldn't want to walk into a podcast like that necessarily where I'm like, okay, I still have no idea what's going on.
Yeah. When it comes to the actual events of each episode, you don't it's okay to be surprised, but you should at least know whether the surprise is like combat or social so you could prepare accordingly mentally. And then also my DMs for actual plays usually will come up to us and they'll be like, hey, here's the layout for this episode. Here's the skeleton. You're currently starting here. You'll have the opportunity to do some shopping when you reach this town. And then by the end of the episode, for the sake of time, we need you to be in this location. And so we go over the skeleton and like the plot of that episode before the episode ever starts, like behind the scenes. And if any players have to do any like one-on-one conversations, you know, where they want to have this storytelling moment off to the side, then they have to let the DM know ahead of time. The DM's like, okay, great, you have 20 minutes in this town. If we go any longer than that, you're just going to be burning up time. You're going to throw everything off. And then scheduling wise, it's going to get weird. So like things like that, right? Where it's like, hey, I have a surprise for you guys. We are going to do a combat and it's probably going to take the entire second half of the episode. You know, that information is useful to know, I think. At least in my head where I very much have like OCPD and control issues. And I'm like, oh, I would rather know how things are going to go. So, but it ends up being better for the audience.
Oh, I completely understand that. And going a little bit into your life, especially like how you said you have OPCD, you have been kind of allowing your lore to come out a little bit more from the last time I talked to you. I didn't think that you were going to have certain things just randomly pop up on Instagram.
Oh boy.
And the last time I talked to you, I was like, did you ever imagine your life being this way? And you gave a really good answer. But this time, after learning a little bit more about you, how did your life get this way?
Oh man. Workaholism mostly. I don't know. It's like that same thing where it all just sprung about during the pandemic, and then I just realized that I was kind of okay at it. And then from there, everything just kind of happens. And if you ask any content creator this, they'll say the same thing, but they're like, yeah, I don't know, I just kind of blinked, and then next thing you know, I'm at a party with this really famous person, or like, oh yeah, I don't know, I guess I just kept saying yes to things, and now I'm here. And honestly, it's the same with me. I just kept saying yes to things, and I don't know. It's fun being able to turn your hobbies into something like this, but it doesn't pay the bills, but it's fun. It's cool.
Yeah, definitely. And then your love for magic that randomly just started.
Yeah. Oh my God. That was it hit me like a truck at Gen Con this year. I have a friend, his name is Austin, who does really fancy, he's an artist, and he does really nice tokens. Do you know a whole lot about magic, or is that still kind of Oh,
No.
perfect. Yeah. He does really nice tokens that are made of metal. And he came up to me once and he handed me one that has all of it almost looks like a stained glass window, but etched onto metal. It's got a nice texture to it and it shows all the symbols for the different mana types. And I was like, Austin, I don't play magic. And he's like, well, just have it. Like, it's fun. I haven't sold all of them yet. He was boothing at Gen Con. He's like, I haven't sold all my stuff, so you can just have this one. And I just was like walking around a party, just holding it and like having fun with it, and just kept staring at it because it was so pretty. And then the next day, I had a bunch of other people come up and like offer to get me cards and things like that. And they were like, oh, okay, you know, you're not into magic yet, but you could be. And we're at Gen Con. You throw a rock, there's 7 people selling commander decks. Why don't you buy one? And I was like, okay, fine, I'll go get one. Cut to now. And I've had people sending me cards. I've up to like 5 or 6 different commander decks. I'm starting to build them myself. And I have started making Magic the Gathering memes with my limited knowledge, because I feel like it's kind of injected a bit of new creativity into my content, where I was running out of ideas for D&D. And now I'm like, oh, yes, this is a whole new market that is basically the same market, but in a different font. So it's been nice.
Oh, yeah. I remember seeing it. You were like, which deck do I need to just absolutely make my friends hate this? And I was like, oh, okay, that's kind of cool. She's getting into D&D. And then the Final Fantasy one came out, and I was like, oh no. Ooh. Cloud.
Oh my God, yeah. Which Cloud? I can't read. Is it's the Ex-Soldier or the
yeah, Ex-Soldier.
Yeah. Yep. I've been some people beat the shit out of me with Cloud decks. It's been crazy. I mean, do you feel like the new releases, and especially when it comes to crossovers like that, obviously the Final Fantasy one was like the most popular one they've had, but like Spider-Man, kind of a flop recently. They're coming out with Avatar. Do you have any thoughts on all that?
So Spider-Man, I got my sexy Lion Man. I got my Craven card, so I'm happy. That's all I wanted. And then Avatar, I was like, cool. My childhood's finally cool. I'm not going to get made fun of for being a fan of that anymore. So
yeah.
I like
it. Just crazy in the context of trading cards. But hey, that's awesome.
Definitely. I'm like, okay, I like this. I don't like Pokemon anymore. Like the trading card game, can't do it anymore. Too many scalpers, too many sweats. I'm like, all right, it's fine. And then Yu-Gi-Oh got the same way. So I was like, cool, I'll try Magic now that Final Fantasy's out, and I enjoy it. There's still sweats. I think that's just everything in every aspect of life. But I'm like, at least it's a little bit more fun.
Yeah, Yeah, and honestly, even if you just like the art, it's fine. It's not super big on the scalping game. I mean, obviously there's some, but like you don't get people out here grading their magic cards to the same degree or anything like that, you know? It's nice. It's fun.
If you did, I would laugh. If I could see somebody
Dude.
doing that like they do with Pokemon, I'd be like, this is insane at this point.
And like I get so many people yelling at me in my comments for not sleeving my decks and things like that. And I'll sleeve my decks. I won't sleeve my bulk.
Yeah.
And I'll riffle shuffle a card that's worth $70 or whatever. And everyone's like, "Oh, what are you doing? Like it's worth so much." And I'm like, "Yeah, it'd be worth that if I was gonna sell it. I'm not gonna sell it. I'm here to have fun. Like it's
Oh,
not. It doesn't matter.
100%.
Yeah." But it's a great
That
hobby. Community's
that's how I was when like I said, when Craven was announced, I was like, okay, cool. I'm never gonna sell these cards. I don't even care. And then they
Yeah.
came out super cheap, and I was like, that's even better because I don't want to buy expensive cards. But what about you? Are you excited for like the Avatar: The Last Airbender set that's coming out? Should be out by this time. The time this episode's out.
Yeah. Oh my God. They're having I think as of recording, they're having the pre-release events now. And then next
Yes.
weekend is PAX Unplugged, where I'm sure it's gonna be like the talk of the town at that convention. I actually have never seen Avatar. So it's not really my thing. And this is kind of where I get into, I know, I'm so sorry. This is where I get into my problem with Universes Beyond. Granted, I'm new to this this whole field. I don't know all of the lore, but I would like to know the lore of Magic the Gathering and the multiverse and all that. But it's really hard to learn the lore when everything that's coming out is a Universes Beyond from an IP I have no interest in. So not personally for the Avatar stuff. I'm sure I'll get back into it with Lorwyn, when that comes out a little bit later. But right now, I'm just I'll let my friends be happy with that one. Yeah.
No Avatar: The Last Airbender. You don't know
Come
who
on.
Rogue is. What is this? Why?
I could talk a little bit about the lore of the Blue People Avatar, but even then, not really.
No, I don't want to talk about the James Cameron Avatar people.
God, yeah. But yeah, no, I don't know. I was at, it was wild too, because I was at a not a party, but just at a friend's house down in LA once. And my friend who was hosting it mentioned that he had a couple people over who were doing just kind of like a content creator work study group almost, where they were scripting out new videos and editing all together. And they were just hanging out, ordering food in his living room. And one of the people there was Michaela Murphy. So I didn't know who she was. And so I came up to her and I was like, "Hi, it's nice to meet you." And I feel like, I don't know if this is me projecting, I feel like she expected like a bigger response and was like almost nervous about it because she didn't know who I was. But I was just like, "Hey, what's up?" And then sat down next to her and called it good. I think she relaxed after a little, but like, yeah, I still have no concept of any of it. I like the elements as a theme. I'll get to it.
I don't even know what to say. You met Toph. You met
Yeah.
Toph, and you were like, all right, cool, bro.
She's really nice. She's super nice, actually. Went to a pool party later where she was at. Oh, super sweet.
Okay, crazy flex. All right, that's
LA is
awesome.
just like that, dude. It is. The amount of people who just, it's like everyone knows each other, and I don't know. It's weird. It's almost uncomfortable how small the space is down there. Even if they're in totally different fields, they somehow all know each other and are all mutuals and will show up in the background of each other's videos all the time. And I'm just like, what are you guys doing? What kind of side quest is this?
What kind of side quest is you started D&D content and you're meeting these celebrities?
No idea. I think that's also, I can't remember if I talked about it last time. It's kind of the nice thing about being in D&D specifically and in the tabletop space is because I feel like it's kind of something, especially after Critical Role got really popular and after Stranger Things came out, where everyone to some degree has at least a passing interest in it. And it's to the point now where people who are in their, they played it back in the 70s when it first came out. They would come up and be like, "Hey, I heard you play D&D, and I'd be like, "Oh yeah, I'm a D&D content creator." And they're like, "I used to play that back in my day. That's so cool." So there's that on that side of the spectrum. Newer content creators and newer people, newer famous people will come up and be like, "Oh, I've always wanted to try D&D. Like, what is it actually like?" And so there's just like, it's a nice catch-all hobby. Everyone at least wants to know a little bit about it, is what I found. So it kind of helps, and it helps make friends.
The day you meet Joe Manganiello is the day I'm just gonna flood your inbox and be like, why?
I actually, dude, I passed him at Gen Con like 2-3 years ago when he was in the middle of his divorce with Sofia Vergara, and he, like, one of his bouncers was carrying around his little dog just around on the con floor, and they were surrounding the man as he was trying to move around and shop. It was, man, I've never seen such crazy security, but it is also Gen Con, so.
That's insane. That's wild. But yes, the day I see a TikTok or a Instagram reel or anything with you and him, I'm gonna be like, what the fuck? Just
Right.
what? It'd be wild. So you got to do something really cool. You got to go to Australia.
Yeah.
What are the rest of the plans? You said PAX Unplugged. Are you heading to that?
Yeah, so that'll be November 21st, that weekend-ish in Philadelphia. So I'll be there. I don't know when this episode's coming out, but if you're there, hi. If not, if you missed me, I'll see you at PAX East, actually, which is the next one over in March. So winter kind of slows down a little bit. Not many people are doing, Kickstarters or anything like that. So I don't have as much business coming in because historically everyone spends their money on Christmas. And so, January, February is really dead in the content creation sphere as far as like promoted stuff. And then conventions, yeah, it's really like Unplugged in November. And then we have a 3-month break until March next year. So I probably won't do Australia again next year. I definitely won't do VidCon. Might do TwitchCon and then a couple other PAXs and things like that. But it'll be a bit of a lighter year, 2026. So.
Oh, you got busy personal life or what?
Just don't need to. VidCon was kind of not my favorite thing ever. It was a lot of kids wandering around, and I was not expecting that. A lot of like young fans of Roblox and Minecraft video creators, and I was like, this is not my field at all. So probably won't do that again. There's a bunch that I went to this year that were just kind of like, I was invited to, so I popped my head in just to kind of see. But I don't know, cost benefit analysis. It'd be nice to stay home. It'd be nice to enjoy home, actually, would be ideal. So probably a little less next year. But as far as adventures go, that's really it.
Like for PAX Unplugged, how does it feel to be? Are you invited this year or no?
No, sort of. I get a media badge, but PAX doesn't pay for me to come out, if that makes sense. So I still have to do my own like room and board. But I can do panels if I want to, and I should have done a meet and greet, but I didn't do it this year. I'll probably do it next year. But the team is really nice. They're really easy to work with, and yeah, I don't know. It's kind of like one of those things where it's a very small space, and I've been going to the cons for so long and like doing content for them for so long. They actually hired me to do a video for PAX Unplugged last year, and so I'm sure if I asked, it would be fine. But they don't quite pay for me to go out. It's more like a business expense, and then I get a free badge and can kind of go hang out in the media room and all that sort of thing.
Oh, okay, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
So PAX Unplugged, all it is TTR, tabletops, D&D, all that kind of stuff, just board games?
Board games, card games, a lot of, just anything that isn't electronic, I guess. Yeah. Except for maybe like a really fancy chessboard or something like that. I saw that once where it like basically it'll light up all of the different squares and it tells you where it wants you to move the opponent's pieces as you play your pieces. And it's like a smart board, and you can set the difficulty, and you can go up to like grandmaster level of difficulty. That was really fancy. That's the most high-tech thing I imagine I'll see there, though. It's a lot of just analog gaming,
Are you going to vlog anything, any like trips in Philadelphia, anything like that? Any skits?
I really don't know. I haven't planned anything. I know a lot of content creators tend to. So I think I mentioned this briefly before. The content creation space for the tabletop space is really tiny. Like we all know each other. And so a lot of them are going to PAX Unplugged. And so they're like, hey, while we have everyone together, like we should all film this huge skit together. And so there might be a couple things where I'm in the background of someone's video, but I don't have anything planned on my front. I don't do a lot of collaboration content, I guess. But I might do the occasional little vlog from the floor of PAX Unplugged and just be like, hey guys, here's what I got at PAX Unplugged. Here's some stuff that seemed really cool. Here's what I passed on. Here's some miniatures that I saw. Here's some workshops that I took, things like that.
Yeah. Okay. I agree. It's like you're so calm. You're so just all together. And then when somebody watches your streams, it's just unhinged. And it's cool to see both sides.
Yeah, I do my best. The streams are a lot more like me just trying to fill time because I'm so, I don't know. It's different than independent content because I feel like I shouldn't have dead air on my stream. So it's a lot of me just word vomiting for an hour and a half straight. I have to cut it an hour and a half because I run out of energy so fast as an introvert. So it gets a little chaotic. It's a lot of me just Googling whatever tangent the audience sends me off on. They'll mention some food or whatever, and I'm like, let's all stare at pictures of this really nice looking food, or things like that. We look at magic cards quite a bit on Scryfall. It's very, I never have a plan.
the most successful streamers I've met and I've interviewed never have a plan. Never walk into a stream knowing what they're going to do. Never have a schedule other than the times, and just run with it.
Yeah. And even if you do have a plan, you like never talk about it anyway. Your audience will always send you off on some tangent, which is fun. And that's ideal because really your audience is there for the one-on-one, not one-on-one interactions, but like the creator chat interactions. If they didn't want those interactions, they would go watch a YouTube video instead. So that's what's fun, to have that back and forth and just kind of follow along with whatever road they send you down.
And so how has the podcast been going? Because when I interviewed you the first time, you were barely starting it. And now it seems like it's going well.
It is, yeah. There's some fun things down the road with regards to the podcast. We've got a decent amount of episodes under our belt. I want to say we're up at 16, 17, and we've started introducing guests in. So people in the TTRPG space, just personal friends of ours who we played games with, things like that. We'll bring them on and we'll be like, hey, world build something for us. Like, let's just have a chill conversation. It continues to be a very chill stream. We aren't monetizing it really, so we don't have any pressure to make money off of it, which makes it so much nicer. And it means we can record when we want to. If we need to take like a couple weeks of break, we absolutely can. Our editor is the most amazing human being in the world and makes it super entertaining to watch all the time. So it's very low key, and it's been fun. We've ended up actually, I'm trying to decide if I can announce this. I think I can. I have also started kind of working. So the premise of the podcast, right? It's a world building podcast, and we've done a lot of world building with regards to monsters and gods and locations. And with monsters in particular, we world built enough of them that I've been in touch with a miniature making company to get some miniatures made out of them as well. So it's kind of growing in that sense, but beyond that, it's still just the same casual conversations as before, and it's been awesome.
That's dope. Congratulations. That's awesome.
Thanks. Hopefully it works out. Hopefully my descriptions did it justice enough to them for them to be able to make a 3D miniature out of it. I don't know. We'll see.
If they mess up the first time, can you please just send me a picture? I'll never show anybody but my partner and be like, what is this?
Absolutely. Honestly, my only regret with the podcast is the fact that, like, so my co-host is down in Australia and was at PAX Aus with me. We didn't take the time to record an episode while we were down there because we were both too busy, and it was such a missed opportunity. Oh, but yeah, next time.
In-person podcasts would have been great, especially since you guys are, two different parts of the world.
Yeah, would have been nice to be in the same time zone for once and actually record when one of us isn't dead exhausted and the other is like 3 drinks in on a Friday night. It's like 7 p.m. for me, 9 in the morning for him,
Oh, shit. He's 3 drinks in at 9 in the morning? That's wild.
Oh, no.
Oh, that's insane. No, this has been fun, and I was excited to bring you back on. I know my partner, she's gonna ask, oh, what'd you guys talk about? Well, you gotta wait. But yeah, she's a big fan of yours. She loves watching your content too.
Yay. Tell her I said hi. Tell her I said congrats on the podcast too. I hope it goes well. Sweet. Honestly, even asking for advice is a bigger step than most people take. Most people just assume that they can sit down and play a normal game of D&D and record it and it'll be okay. And I'm like, I mean, you could also like maybe take someone else's advice and make it just like a little bit better, one step at a time. But I digress.
So for like the video aspect of it,
yeah,
how many angles would you recommend? Would you recommend a top down? Would you recommend everybody having their own? Like, what are you trying to do with that too? What would you do with that?
It depends on the physical layout of the space, but I honestly think that a top down is a necessary aspect. If you don't have the capability to do a top-down camera, you can also just take a second camera, even on your phone, and recreate the battlefield later and add it in post and have like isometric views or side views or more cinematic views of what happened when you're going back through and editing and listening to the combat back. But ideally, a top-down would be great. I also recommend that like you have 2 or 3 people per camera. So having a camera that's like entirely one side of the table, and then a second camera that's entirely the other side, and then just one for the DM would be good. So that's like 4 total usually. And then mics and all that are sure to not get too annoying with people's side talk and clattering of dice and all that. So it really depends on your space and what you have the capabilities for, but that's what I would recommend tech-wise.
Okay. Well, thank you for the advice. We definitely are going to use it and keep in touch with you. As we begin to wind down, can you say your social again?
Yeah, I am Diana Faye, but I'm at Diana of the Rose on all platforms. So that'd be Blue Sky, Threads, Twitch, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, but I don't really talk about that one much. And then I think that's it. I think I said YouTube. So anything except Twitter, really, for obvious reasons. That's where I'm at.
She just hates Twitter. It's fine. Everybody hates Twitter.
Yeah.
I want to know what the D&D space is on Twitter. I'm going to look that up now.
It's actually pretty decent. It's the same as everywhere else, honestly. A little bit more tight knit. I honestly think the only people who are still posting on Twitter from the D&D space are people who just have a really big audience there that they don't want to lose. Because I think most of us have left.
Oh shit! Oh damn! Okay. Well, I get it. I understand. Ladies and gentlemen, this was my conversation with a very, very good person, Diana Faye. Thank you again for letting me take up some time. I know that you're a very busy woman all the time, but I enjoy talking to you, and we will see each and every one of you in the next video. Bye, guys.
Bye.